in terms of kind of the multimedia space, so we have images, we had sort of writing. I want to give you, and I'm not going to go through this, but a bunch of links around sort of some of the multimedia. In terms of chat bots, obviously there are lots of chat options. So you have Bing Chat, you have Chat GPT, Gemini, Meta AI, Perplexity, and Claude. So all of these are free. They do have pro versions, or Perplexity has a pro version, Claude has a pro version, Gemini does, ChatGPT paid. So they have paid versions, but they also have free versions. Sometimes you just want to maybe take a prompt and put it through all of them and see what it comes back at. You'll often find that it's not as different as you think, that they're all giving you the same answer. There is another website that is paid only, but is pretty amazing. I'll put it in the chat. I realize I should have put it here. It's called gmtech.com. I think that's the one. And it actually allows you to do multiple, like you can click on multiple chat bots and also images and give it one prompt, and it'll show you the responses from all of them at the same time. So you can see them side by side, and that can be pretty cool as well. So if you're trying to do a compare and contrast, but what you also might realize when you do that is most of the answers are actually the same because they're trained on similar data, right? The way they've been trained. Yeah. And yeah. So basically, there are lots and lots of more tools. If anyone is like, oh, Rochelle, here's a really good one, please post it, because we don't have time to necessarily try all of them. But we want to give you sort of maybe a short list in which to start. If you're doing any music, Udio and Suno, these two I would say are my top favorites right now. You can give it a prompt, say I want a 1950s jingle or something, and it'll come up, it'll build the music, it'll actually give you a voice, and it will actually give you lyrics all in one prompt. So you just give it a style and it will just launch a song. And then on the video side, there's a little bit more that goes into sort of the video side that I think is important. We have a text to imagery or text to video, but then there might be music, there might be voices that you want to do. So I've given you sort of like 11 Labs is great for generative voices. You can also clone your voice if you want to, your own voice, through their paid services. So these are just some editing tools. Opus Clips is a really great one if you want to clip tools for different social media areas. So you want it, in a sort of portrait for TikTok, but you want it in a different format for YouTube. You can take the same video and it will sort of resize and do a variety of things there. So these are all different tools. I've tried to put kind of what they're best at next to them, but I think there's also something to keep in mind. Yeah, voice cloning tool is great. Thank you, Julia. Appreciate that. So Holly.plus is in the chat. Holly Herndon's Holly Plus voice cloning tool is great. So definitely check that out, and I'll definitely add that to my list as well. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate that. James.
Yeah, I just want to point out, so a lot of the tools that are being presented here are commercial tools. There's also a whole wide range of open source tools that are expanding and getting launched. So there's a link down on the bottom left there called Hugging. Well, it's Hugging Chat, but the underlying website's called Hugging Face. And this is a place where a lot of the open source community goes and launches new models and applications. And it's all free and open access. However, there is a learning curve to a lot of these things because they're free, and there's a lot of do-it-yourself aspects still to it. So it's just something to be aware of, but you can explore a lot of things for no cost.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. So here's some, again, these are all commercial, largely easy to use. I would say good for newbies or people on the on the earlier stage of exploring. But yeah, as you become more confident, then you're like, I like this tool, but I don't want to spend it. You might then, once you know what you want, you can then use maybe some of the open source ones, and it's worth then going up the learning curve just to keep those costs and also control in some cases around the content that you're using with them.